It's retarded music for retarded people, you know.
Hello and welcome to Wait Out Radio, and this week we are in Ukraine. It's been an absolute blast. I've just finished the second week, off to Moscow tomorrow. I've done loads actually. So I first of all decided to get involved in as much music as possible. So from the wedding I met a guy called Alex. He introduced me to two people called Serge and Spike. One was a turbo skinhead.
My name is Sviatoslav and my second name is Spike.
Cool. So you're a skinhead?
Yes, I am a sharp skin.
The other guy put on Northern Soul Dances, and I did a little interview with them, which you should be able to see on the YouTube channel. And they were an absolute class couple of guys to hang around with. Really looked after me, really lovely boys.
My name is Serge. So I'm an organizer of garage band gigs here. Also doing like mud, Northern Soul. Yeah, and maybe some funk.
Really nice guy. Introduced me to his friends who were all really big into their music. Part of the skinhead movement, fights fascists on the streets, which is an absolutely crazy concept. Amazing that that's going on. We went to see a bunch of bands, we met a few other people who played stoner rock. So I just started to get involved in the scene really, and just started talking to people. It was incredible to hear their stories about the revolution, the parts that they played, different things that have been going on over in Ukraine, the struggle that they face. It's really dark times for them because even though they had the revolution, their currency plummeted, they all became a lot poorer very quickly, and even though their wages stayed the same, all the prices in the shops went up. But obviously for me, coming over from England and a lot of tourists that go over there, it's just unbelievably cheap, so it's an incredible place to visit if you're British, definitely. So then the strangest thing ever happened. I was basically waiting in the queue at this gig and I saw a guy stood next to me who looked pretty British. So I said to him, "Do you speak English?" And he went, "I'm from Wales." So I met this band who were from Wales, got on really well with them. We went to the Irish bar, had a drink, and the next night they were playing live in Ukraine because they were on tour. So I went to see them. So I went and checked out a few churches and unfortunately got thrown out of pretty much all of them because they don't like legs and I was wearing shorts, and yeah, we had a problem about that. They're very religious, so you know you have to respect the rules that are pretty ridiculous, like cover your head if you're a woman, and obviously everyone knows you can't get close to God in shorts. It's just wrong. So probably one of the most random things that I decided to do was to go to the opera. And the reason I decided to go to the opera was because you can't afford it in England, but you can afford it in Ukraine. To sit in the second row for a 3-hour opera cost me £16. So I thought, you know what, it was my birthday recently, I'm going to the opera. I went and bought some nice clothes, and off I went, and I made some nice friends who were American, and the opera was really good actually. It was a bit of a variety thing, a mixture of opera, ballet and all different kinds of dance from all over the world. There was actually this male dancer in the show who was like Prince and Michael Jackson in one. He was the most incredible dancer I've ever seen in my life. I still can't believe what I saw. He was absolutely phenomenal. So one of the days Serge gave me a call and he said that he was going to pick me up in his friend's car, and his friend, I don't know his real name because everyone just calls him Ian Jury because he dresses like him all the time, which is pretty cool for a random guy from Ukraine. And he was absolutely lovely. So he picked me up in the car and we went around sightseeing all day. So we went to the Botanic Gardens, which were really run down, and I felt really sad that they didn't have much of a community project going there, or government weren't funding it. Apparently there's a lot of problems with corruption. It could have been a really nice garden, but it needed a lot of TLC. Then after that we went round and saw a load of sights. So we drove around the city and it was absolutely beautiful, and saw lots of statues of good luck. There are a lot of good luck statues and trinkets in Ukraine. And that day it was Pagans Day, so they were telling me all about their traditional pagan roots. Before the Christians came over to Ukraine, it was a very pagan country. Then after that they took me to a part of Ukraine which has tons and tons of churches all in one area, and they're absolutely phenomenal, like totally gold and decorated with incredible artwork and paintings. And in there as well there was one which was a series of caves, and you have to go in there, it's in pitch darkness, and you bring a candle with you, and there's like tons of people in this pitch dark cave with all these little tunnels, and in the cave there's all of these actual dead saints in their coffins, and you can go and see them. So like you might just see like a hand poking out of like a fine silk robe or something in this coffin, but there's loads of them. I don't know how we managed to get out of there alive. It's like an absolute fire hazard. What a way to go. But it was an incredible thing to see and totally unique. I've never knew anything like that existed. So in order to go into this very religious cave, I believe it was Catholic saints, I had to wear a headscarf because in Ukraine you get told off if you don't wear a headscarf in their churches because they don't really like that at all. I didn't have a headscarf, obviously, it's not really my bag, so Ian Jury went and got me one. So check this out. That's my headscarf. Actually worked as well, so that was cool. So as I mentioned last week, there was a wedding. Louis and Anna got married. So this week Louis got in touch with me and he said, hey, could you listen to some tracks on my band? And of course, like, I'd seen his band play live and I really liked him, so I was really up for that. And I thought it'd be cool to do an interview for my radio show. So we decided to meet up at this boat party. Alex, the Ukrainian bass player in Louis' band, had offered me a free ticket, so I went to that, and it was a bit too noisy to interview him, so we're going to do that another time. But I had an absolutely brilliant time. The boat party was really nice, everybody was dancing, Alex's band played and they were completely phenomenal. He's got that 50s rock and roll style down to a T, and he's a brilliant guitarist and frontman as well as being a bass player, and just beautiful to be on a boat at sunset, and it was really amazing party. I've never been to anything like it actually, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I spent quite a lot of time partying with the guys on the music scene in Ukraine, and it was a lot of fun. So I stuck with Serge because he's a trustworthy guy and really, really nice, and Spike as well, he was really fun. So one night we were in the 24-hour supermarket getting some drinks, and who did we bump into but a local celebrity, one of the favourite MCs of the town. His name was Zippo, and Zippo decided to rap for me. Meeting Zippo was really lovely actually, and he really took a shine to me. At the end of our freestyle, he actually gave me his jumper, which is something that a lot of people have asked for, and it's actually a really nice token of appreciation and a trophy, which is a one-off. Has his name on the back and his lighter on the front, which was really, really kind. I found like a lot of people in Ukraine super selfless. Why should you give me a present? I didn't deserve anything, but they did. They just take you in and look after you, and you know, they'll give you the shirt off their back. This guy literally did that. So absolutely incredible experience, really moving. The same meeting all of the rest of the guys, including Spike. That video got about 3,000 hits within a few days, and people were just really interested in the story out here with fighting on the streets over fascist and anti-fascist arguments, and it's a big deal and it's a real eye-opener. Also this week I managed to fit in a little bit of time to write for Louder Than War magazine. The editor Jim got in touch with me and asked me if I had time to interview Girl Ray and a couple of other new bands which are emerging at the moment with new albums on the horizon. So I did that, and it was really nice to chat to some English bands back home. Okay guys, have an amazing week, and I will fill you in when I'm in Moscow. Take care, bye.